played a heck of a game. Man, it's a far cry from the Georgetown team we played last year. I told the guys that coming in. But then when you feel it and you experience it on the floor, I think it still takes some adjusting, on the guys' part to understand, like, this is a team to really, be reckoned with in our league. I thought the way the guys came out to start the second half was the difference in this game. We just challenged them at halftime we talk about us versus us, to win the spiritual war, in our own huddle, not even against Georgetown. And I thought our guys did that.
Why do you think Georgetown's zone defense was so effective in the first half?
We were tentative, like Chase said. We didn't do a good job beating it down the floor. We weren't aggressive enough. We held the ball too much. We got tentative. We weren't ready to shoot enough. Much better job against it in the second half. I mean, it's a similar zone to what we've seen against a lot of teams. But, it was interesting. The flow of the game definitely changed there with those couple technical fouls and, some stuff that happened that I think took our eyes off the prize a little bit. And then they went zone in there, and our aggressiveness really wasn't good enough. But, I thought our guys did a way better job in the second half against man or zone.
With Chase, I know he was frustrated with some foul trouble in the last couple games. What'd you think of his bounce back performance tonight?
He was phenomenal. A blind man could see that. I mean, he was best player on the floor in this game, and that's saying a lot because they had a lot of really good players out there, and we had some good players out there. I had a feeling that he'd be highly motivated going into this game. He's really high character. He cares about winning, cares about his teammates. And, this is, you talked about winning ugly. I mean, this is, for us, a really good win because you look at it between Ben, Jop, and Cam. Those guys were all forced into inefficient shooting nights. 8 for 31 between the three of them. So if you said, hey, those guys are going to go 8 for 31, you mean down 9 at the half, you're like, okay, how do we figure out a way to win? And, says a lot about our guys' character that we did that.
Coach, you mentioned, kind of the difference in Georgetown this year versus Georgetown last year. Is there anything specific that kind of sticks out to you about the start that they're off to this season?
Everything. I mean, everything's different. They have better players. They are playing to Coach Cooley's personality, which is as important as anything. Thomas Sorber specifically is one of the best bigs in the country, not just in the conference. I think Mac makes a huge difference. The poise that he plays with, and then Peavy, man, I mean he's a grown up out there. He's been playing. I coached against him at Texas, so this is my 4th year here. He's been playing a long time. He's a grown-up. We've played some old guys lately. It was Ashworth and Kalkbrenner at 24 years old in our last game, and, Peavy today. But I thought even Georgetown's younger guys played with a lot of poise and have been playing with a lot of poise.
Shaka, does this game provide any tangible teaching moments that you can maybe point back to later in the season and say, hey, this is how tough you are. You can overcome deficits like this. You can overcome slow starts like that? Every
game does, but for sure tonight. And you want to win. You want to learn from winning. If you have a growth mindset, you're going to learn either way. But you certainly would prefer to learn after a win. I think the most important thing is to have enough humility to understand that game could have gone either way, down the stretch. We were able to, win by 8, but, let's be honest, with 2 minutes left, that's anybody's game. And so as a player, as a coach, we look at that and we see, okay, what are things we can do better? But absolutely to your point, the poise and spirit that our guys exhibited, particularly when we get down 14, we're not shooting the ball well. The zone stymied us to some extent. It would have been easy for us to get bummed out And I thought our guys did a great job collecting each other, helping each other have the spirit that we needed to have to win the game.
This team's been so good at taking care of the basketball this season. Why do you think that is? And did you get away from it a little bit in the first half? Or what do you think?
Yeah, we had 8 turnovers in the first half. So, as we say, that's NGE, not good enough. That being said, nobody tried to turn the ball over. Nobody did that on purpose. We'll watch the tape and look at it. I'd say the majority of them were preventable. Now, fortunately, we were able to still win the turnover comparison because our guys did such a good job getting their hands on the ball. But it's another example, Ben, of when that happens, you got to find ways to win ugly. The beautiful game is I think we had a game recently where we had like 2 turnovers, and we've had some really, really low turnover numbers. So, great. Let's find a way to learn from it. Let's grow. This wasn't Cam's best game, but there's a lot of things we can look at. And Peavy had a lot to do with that. He was terrific against Cam. Thought he did a good job making him inefficient.
Yeah, Ben Gold struggled from the field, but defensively, was this his best game at Marquette?
He's had some games like this. He's had about a handful of games where when you look at his offensive numbers, you'd say it wasn't his night, but he just flat out helped us win. There was a couple games last year that were just monumental, and then tonight that was close to a season high or a career high in minutes for him. He just battled. He fought, against a lot of these bigs in the Big East. It is that you got to bring your hard hat. It's like Kalkbrenner one night and Thomas Sorber the next night. And, we still got to deal with a bunch of other really, really good ones. But I love his mentality of I'm going to focus on being my best in the 98%, which is everything other than shooting and turnovers. And then I'm going to do my very best in that 2%. Some nights it's going to go great. Other nights it's not. I would say for the three-point shot, if you look at him in his whole career, typically it ends up balancing out, and he shoots in the high 30s. And I would guess that's what will happen this year.
I think you played the starters the last 11-plus minutes. Just what gave you the confidence to stick with those guys?
Man, those guys, I thought both teams' fatigue really, really, was a factor. At one point, both Stevie and Chase asked to come out earlier in the half. And I like that. I mean, they were just going so hard that we needed to get them. The bottom line is we've got 5 freshmen and sophomores that come off the bench and play for us that we believe are promising young players. But there are times that the game gets above them. Just like there's times when Cam Jones was a freshman that the game was above him, or David Joplin, or Stevie Mitchell, or Chase Ross. And so that's not in any way being disrespectful. We got to keep growing those guys up. We got a week till we play again. It's a crucial week for Trey Norman, Royce Parham, Demarius Owens, Aid Lowry, Caden Hamilton. We got to get better. I told the guys we don't play for a week, but relationships, growth, and victory don't go on pause. I mean, that's every day for us. And the growth part, every one of our guys has got to play the starring role in his own growth and development, and then it's our job as coaches to wrap our arms around them and pour into them, to push them and support them and help them along the way.
With Sean redshirting, it seemed like there was momentum for him to maybe come back this season. Was there a setback, or what went into the decision?
There was no setback. Oh, by the way, this game for a minute reminded me of that Butler game last year. This game right before the students come back is a little tricky, just because we've been on break for a while and holidays are over. Anyway, it's nice to win that game. So let's go back to the Butler game. This was not just a torn ACL. This was a devastating injury where he tore and ruptured multiple things in his knee. Has had a phenomenal approach and attitude towards his rehab. As you guys know, he returned to practice over a month ago, I think. He's been really good in practice on offense. He's not quite been himself yet on defense in terms of trusting that knee and that leg to move laterally. And I can tell he doesn't quite feel like himself yet on defense because, sometimes he'll switch with another guy to, maybe get off the quickest guy. The bottom line is that injury, different guys recover on different timetables. But as I've learned a lot about that injury, this time around, with Sean. Doesn't fully heal until 18 months. Now, sometimes circumstances dictate that, you need to come back sooner, or you want to come back sooner, or you feel good coming back sooner. Sean, certainly the way he's practiced, like you could come watch his practice and you'd say, man, they could use him out there. We certainly can. It's not like we're overflowing with point guards. But at the end of the day, Sean Jones is about as high character as anyone that I've been around, and we were always going to let him drive this decision. We put a timetable of December 31st, that Providence game, to kind of look at, can we try to get him ready to go where he's comfortable going out and playing in that game, and if not, then, making a decision, like we did. I'm 1 million support. I'm 1 million% in alignment with Sean. The positive is we get to have him here for another year because this guy is a home run person, and his leadership this year has been phenomenal. We'd love to have him out there, but, sometimes things are outside of your control. But I'll tell you this, the way he's approached it, gone about the rehab, the way he's been with his teammates has been absolutely awesome. And so excited about him continuing to, get that thing better and get more comfortable and get more confident and, hopefully be back out there in a Marquette uniform in about 10 months. Thank you.